Hi Libra, welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot. Welcome to your love reading. Now these readings are going from about mid-October to around mid-November. And there's a lot of things going on in this time period, and it's leading up to a lot of major things happening in November and December. So in a lot of ways, we're kind of in the thick of it. I like to think of this particular energy as quicksand, being really stuck in the quicksand now. It might feel like any attempts to get out of places where we feel stuck might be futile. And it's important to pay attention to where we're investing our energy right now. If you're investing in something emotionally, physically, whatever it is, if you're putting a lot of energy and intention into something that just doesn't seem to give, it's important in this time period to kind of accept things for what they are. So October I talked about as being my month of accountability, which means it could be a little rough because there's some hard lessons that we're learning. There's a lot of ways when we're really have to look at the people in our lives, because with this Scorpio energy, now Libra, I know the sun is still in your sign. We're dealing with the Libra new moon. But I feel really bad because this particular Libra season really feels more like Scorpio season. Like we're already in the deep, creepy stuff, you know? There's an emphasis on your first and seventh house, meaning there's a teetering between you, your physical needs, your desires, your body, your health, and that of other people that are integrated into your life. Now, the seventh house can represent a significant other, somebody you're contractual somewhat of a relationship, a business partner. The seventh house can also represent, just how we interact with others, the lessons that we learn through those emotional experiences. So if you're listening to this and you're like, dude, I'm totally single, this could be more of an inward struggle. And with that Scorpio season, you might be in a place where people are coming back from the past, or you're kind of just focusing your attention on all the crap that you experienced in the past and kind of making sense of it, right? Then moving towards Halloween, and in between we have this crazy Uranus energy opposing that Mercury in Scorpio, which means that some of the stuff we're seeing it play out in other people. Like people might come across as very manipulative, very desperate. Obviously, you could see this playing out on a mundane level in astrology just by staring at the politics, paying attention to the power dynamics at play. There's like a lot of ego energy. That's really where we're in, even though the Libra sun is debilitated and all of these other energies are kind of taking over our ability to compromise. So although we're still in the ultimate search for balance, what's being shown to us are the real imbalances in our lives, within us and within others. Now, I remember last month, I think your reading was about like stepping out of denial in situations and accepting things for what they were. And that was a big theme of accountability. So looking at this energy, there seems to be a continuation of the story. So like I said, everything's a process. Nothing happens overnight. There's not a lot of like quick, Uranus can bring breakthroughs, but it's still an intense struggle because there's still things that we have to understand from these situations. So we're still kind of in like all that Chiron energy of healing these situations within us. Now, your first card is the Four of Pentacles. And the first thing that I thought of was lack mentality, a scarcity mindset with this Four of Pentacles. This is kind of like holding on to things. Now, there could be a physical holding on to things. And one of the, with all this Pluto Scorpio energy, a good way to use this is to literally clean out our houses, clean out our attics, our drawers, our closets, rearrange. Remember, it's a time of making space, okay? Clearing out the old and making space for the new stuff to come in. Now, this Four of Pentacles can be where things seem to be kind of building up pressure in your life. If you're procrastinating in any way, you're probably staring at these piles of work get bigger and bigger and realizing how much you've been avoiding. And that starts to take a toll. Four of Pentacles can also be where we focus on how and why things didn't work out the way that we expected them to. Holding on to old thought processes, old patterns, old relationships, you know, kind of lugging around that baggage from each and every experience and bringing it with us into the next experience. Remember, we need to make space. There's not a whole lot of space in this Four of Pentacles. Now, the reason I'm making such a big emphasis on this is because it comes out above the Oracle card of health. I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. So when you get into the Four of Pentacles kind of mentality, it can really start to affect your health. I know this to be true because I have actually been through it. And let me tell you what happens when you hold on to anger. Anger can have physical manifestation. A lot of times it coincides with liver issues, kidney issues, back pain, okay? And it might be so stressful, Libra. The universe might be putting so much pressure on you that it's actually physically impossible for you to ignore this. And I think the Four of Pentacles is kind of the elephant in the room. Now, I love this because next to this Four of Pentacles is a Child of Cups. Now, the Four of Pentacles is kind of a Capricorn, Saturnian, you know, fear of not having enough. If there's financial issues, you might feel like things are tight. Whenever I see Saturn-related cards, I think of contractions, right? We're contracted, we're kind of, there's pressure and there's contraction before release. So, you know, money could be quite literally up and down, in and out quickly, not really having a handle on it. And that Four of Pentacles underneath the health card, you know, if you're in relationships that aren't abundant, they start to make you financially not abundant, and then that turns into being physically not abundant. The lack, the anger, the attention to what you've lost, what is in the past, old hurts, these things can really weigh you down. And Libra, when you have this square from Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter making a square to you in your first house, it means that you will be feeling this within your body. The pressure is very real. But I like that the Child of Cups comes in. Now, one thing that caught my eye immediately is there's a deepening of the blue color here. And this branch that looks dead, right? It looks dead. It looks non-abundant, right? There's no growth there. And this seems to continue into this card, meaning growth is coming. Now, this is a card of your recent past still. So this is something that you may have gone through. There was a contraction, there was maybe a little bit of a lack, and then you started to pick up a little bit of momentum. This could symbolize that you're tapping into things a little bit more on an emotional realm, really starting to look at things. So if there were things you were avoiding, remember we were stepping out of denial. So if there were things that you were avoiding or refusing to look at, this tells me that once you got into your feelings, once you got into stuff, there's immediately a healing that starts to occur. Now, this does tell me that we're stepping into a time of self-care and nurturing, stepping out of that lack mentality, not focusing on the things that you do not have in life, and looking more with gratitude towards the thing that you do. Now, maybe you're leaving a situation behind, and part of the stress and the worry is that things will be lonely, or they won't be the same, or nobody will ever take their place. Okay, these are really common lack mentality things. Like a relationship ends and you're like, oh my God, I'm sure I'm never going to meet anybody else, or I don't ever want to deal with love again. And yet somehow one day we all wake up and we're willing to give it another go, right? Because ultimately it's what we're here for. And that's a reminder to all of you that you are here to experience love. It doesn't always mean it's going to be a pleasant experience. There's a lot of lessons that come with it. Now, current energy is the Two of Wands. I love this because you're taking your feels and you're turning them into something very creative. Two of Wands kind of is a sacred place where you're letting yourself feel and it actually becomes productive. It could indicate physical healing with your health, stepping into a period of time where you're letting go of some of those stresses, focusing on self-care, and really physically starting to feel better. The Two of Wands, especially in this deck, always symbolizes a portal to me, like a doorway. You are at a crossroads. You're being invited to enter into a new way of life. Now, above this Two of Wands is a card of Temperance. This is the overall energy of the reading. This is a card of alchemy. This is a card of when life hands you crap. You write a great song about it and you make millions of dollars, okay? I don't know why, I'm just picturing like Taylor Swift with her Cancer moon kind of sad songs about hurt and loss that everybody kind of resonates with, and that was her turning her own pain and her own circumstances into something really productive and beautiful. That is what alchemy is. It's pressure. It's the struggles in our life. It's the struggles that we overcome that make us who we are, that make the magic. And Libra, I think you're stepping into a doorway where you're going to be able to make some magic now. Underneath that Child of Cups and the Two of Wands, forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. Yeah. That Child of Cups, I think, is that opportunity to get into your feels. Now, maybe somebody is offering you an apology. Maybe you're going to have to forgive yourself. Maybe somebody's not giving you the apology that you know that you deserve, and you somehow have to accept that and find a way to internalize that, not just that acceptance, but it's letting go of the hurt. It's not taking it personally. The Two of Wands is all about intuition and inspiration, and that comes from the ability to overcome and accept things that we can't change, but yet we learn from them. Forgiving and learning. The Two of Wands also comes out above free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. This kind of reminds me of a merry-go-round. Okay. Something that just keeps going and going and reliving in your life. And for some reason, I'm getting this picture of Libra, trying to grasp at something that just seems to be eternally out of their reach. And the free yourself is to free yourself of the desire. Now, with some of these cards here, I do have to address that, with coming out of denial, we're probably releasing some things that are very bad for us. Those things could be toxic people, toxic habits. If you're in any kind of an addictive cycle, it might actually get worse before it gets better. And then, there's that period of time where you have to, part of the 12 steps where you have to ask forgiveness. You have to repent in some ways. And I think you're doing that with yourself, and you're freeing yourself from all of the ways in which you viewed your life as lacking. And I just can't ignore the way that I feel when I look at this free yourself card, because really, first of all, it's a unicorn and it's fenced in, right? The idea of free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. And it feels like some kind of a cycle that you keep getting pulled into, even though I think at this point you know better. I think there's been some cleaning up that's had to happen. And yet the desire feels so close. Almost like you're not out of the woods quite yet. It might be easy in this time with that Temperance card. It might be easy for you to kind of slip into the old mindset still. It's not quite taken root. It's, Two of Wands is kind of, it's the creator, it's the orchestrator, it's the conductor. It's trying to take control. The intentions are there, but it's beginning energy. And that Temperance tells me your need for patience might be your need to be patient with yourself. If you're slipping in and out, if you're allowing people to sometimes still take advantage of you, or maybe still doing that habit that you swore you weren't going to do, like if you tell everybody that you quit smoking and yet you're still slipping out the side door 3 times a day, there's still an element where you're getting sucked back into that toxic behavior. And you might be teetering on a fine line this month. And the thing is, the universe is putting pressure on you to learn this lesson. So I think each time that you start to slip back, I feel like the universe might give you a little bit of a kick in the ass. And each time it might get a little bit harder, a little bit swifter, and a little more surprising, especially with how quickly it happens with that fire energy. Now, your challenge this month is a 6 of Wands. You're the second sign to get this as a challenge card, which makes sense because Aries is your 7th house, Mars is retrograde, and there might be a lot of ego getting triggered at this time. But I want the things that I want, and I want them now. 6 of Wands can be a really beautiful energy. It could be an energy of victory. It could be an energy of overcoming something, it could even be a card representing you being a leader in some way. But when I see it in the challenge card, I see that you're getting a little hung up on things that fill some sort of a void, offer you some sort of instant gratification. Again, I don't know why I'm focused on a habit. I'm focused on a need for feedback, a need to control. This is Leo energy. Maybe you're coming out of a cycle of toxic relationships and there's just like that one ex, that one person that could kind of call you back anytime, and they kind of know your weaknesses. And sometimes you get a little bit sucked back in. Sometimes you like that old story. Now this comes out above the free yourself. So free yourself from the ego, free yourself from the desire, freeing yourself from being hyper-focused on all of the things that you want but do not have. Your outcome card is that of the High Priestess. Again, another card, you know, the pearl within the shell, the gem that is formed from pressure, from going deep, from really doing the work. The High Priestess can also represent, especially when it comes up in a reading with the Temperance card, that you are being a little guided this month. You are being a little bit guided when it comes to, you have this Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter in your 4th house. High Priestess could even represent, in all honesty, you know, loved ones from your past that are maybe in another realm, that are really looking out for you. And the universe wants you to have this. There's something inside of you, 2 of Wands, that's growing, that's creating, that's turning into its alchemy. Once you get through this, the other side is such a beautiful story. You will never look back on this and regret the work that you've done. You will never look back at this time and say, God, that was the worst part of my life. I wish it never happened. High Priestess means this is all for your greater good, that this moment, even if it feels dire, even if it feels like you're not in control, even if it feels like you're having to do some real dark, deep shadow work and be real honest about yourself, it will be worth it. You will never regret this. Now, underneath this High Priestess card is card number 16. All that glitters is gold. All right, Libra. I said you got that ex, that one person, that one thing, that one weakness. Maybe it's like a certain type of beer or a certain type of cigarette. You see somebody drinking it or smoking it and you're like, oh my God, I just need one right now. 6 of Wands, I need it right now. And the High Priestess, meaning your higher being. Remember I said you know better. And 2020 knows that you know better. And so now every time that you slip into that old habit, you carry a little bit more shame, right? Damn, I knew better. Damn, I knew that wasn't going to work out. Damn, I knew I was going to get caught. I think a lot of this stuff is stuff you could easily see coming, and it's things that you could easily avoid. Breaking down to a 7, another indication that there is divine intervention at play. Libra, the distractions in your life have got to go. The shopping has to go. The comparing yourself to others has to go. Honestly, being attracted to people that are kind of shallow, being attracted to financial pursuits and the next greatest breakthrough, like 2020, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, it's just not going to work. Games aren't going to work anymore. Things that look pretty on the outside aren't really all that impressive. And I think this is time where you have to start looking at what is on the inside. What is on the inside of other people? What have you been entertaining that has been soul sucking? Okay? Because there's so much potential with this High Priestess. There's so much potential. If you could follow the advice of your higher being, your higher guidance, you know right from wrong. There's good core foundations here. So now it's simply avoiding the temptation. All that glitters is not gold. Pretty face, a nice car, a good job may not be the most important thing. In fact, having someone at all at this time might not be the most important thing. Having all of the money, having that prestigious job, there's always a price. And I just feel like this isn't worth giving up on. And I think as you move farther through these transits and you start to make your way through the end of November and into December, things are going to start to shift. You're going to start to see that alchemy in process. You're going to start to see the results. What you are digging into, whether it's psychological counseling, past life, however you see fit, journaling, talking to a friend, it's opening up. You see, this shell is opening up and exposing the beauty that is within. And that is what you're being asked to do. And not wasting time, energy, money on things that are going to make you feel better in a moment. And I have to tell you, with the High Priestess, there's always an unbelievable level of gratitude. And I feel like when you come out of this, when you make this progress, when you see what happens, when you really put in the hard work, you really resist the temptations, I think you're going to be so grateful for this period, so grateful for this experience, and grateful for maybe whatever disappointments led you here. That's how much healing you'll do. If it was a shitty relationship or a crappy job, I think in the end you'll still be grateful that that person and that thing was in your life, because it changed everything. And all you needed was that little bit of change. Remember that you are at the crossroads. The door is open. The opportunity is there. The opportunity for a better life, a more satisfying emotional existence is right in front of you. Choose wisely. All right, Libra, I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back for your November reading shortly. I just want to tell you guys I love you so much, and take it easy. Take care. Bye.